It's a strange thing when you get into retro gaming that consoles that were way beyond that you could imagine at the time back in the 90s when the Game Boy was doing its thing and when I was a kid, you know, could possibly happen in the future. Like something that would play all your Game Boy games, all your Game Boy Advance games, even though the Game Boy Advance didn't exist, and all your other consoles like the Game Gear and the Mega Drive and so on, and even things that were just coming onto the market like the PlayStation, the Sony PlayStation. You know, it would be hard to imagine that those things would end up in your pocket 20 years later and you go, well, it's okay, but it's not great, is it? It's a mediocre device, you know, it's not great. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that people say about devices like this one, the RG35XX. It's mediocre, you know, it's sort of okay for your first handheld. And it's strange that people are still collecting things that, you know, this blows away, like the Game Boy, and loving them. And yeah, this doesn't get the love because this is a great little handheld. And people are saying it doesn't quite fit the right sort of market it's targeted at. It's sort of going for the sort of tiny the mini arcade handheld type thing, like the Mayu Mini. It's going after that, but it's big. It's a big device. It's bigger than, well, the Mayu Mini, of course, and the Funky S and so on. It's not really fitting in the right sort of market. It hasn't got the right sort of market. It's got the first time handheld enthusiasts maybe from the past, or kids today having a go at the old games, yeah, but it's not really fitting the niche it's created for. It's created for the mini market, and it's not a mini, it's sort of in between. It's not as good as the Steam Deck, well, not as big as the Steam Deck, and not as good at emulation. So, you know, it's not as small as the Mayu Mini. So, where does it sit? Well, is it mediocre or is it a good device? Well, I think this RG35XX is a great little handheld and goes on well in a collection, whether it's your first one or your 101st. Which it could be for me. No, I don't think I've quite got 100 yet. Its operating system is very basic, of course. You've got your, here in settings, you've got a few themes you can go through. You've got this one, here they are. So that's about all you get. So a lot of people are looking into Garlic OS, or OS as it is. I call it OS to run with DOS because we called it DOS for years, the disk operating system, but now it's an OS. So yeah, Garlic OS, not Garlic OS. It's got these backgrounds, a couple of basic backgrounds. That's the most interesting one, that's what I've chosen. It's got the Game Boy look, but it's got a very big screen considering its form factor. Yeah, it's about 3.5 inches, I think. Don't quote me on that. But it's got the little slant there, like a Game Boy with a grill. It's got the Game Boy color buttons, this version. There's your memory card slots, micro SD or TF, as it's known. Some people are criticising these shoulder buttons, but they do the job. A little bit wobbly. And there we go, Anbernic RG35XX, sticker on the right way. Some people are getting units with it around the wrong way. There's your volume rocker. And the HDMI cable, mini I believe that is. Don't really understand why they've put that in and not given the Bluetooth option for external controls, but never mind. You've got a decent D-pad there. And this would be an amazing Game Boy, wouldn't it, back in the day? It would be incredible. But no, at the moment, it's just sort of in between somewhere. But it does fill a little hole, I think. It sort of is good for the people who want to pick up and actually play games rather than collect. And it's easy to use. It's straightforward. It's not the most interesting look. Let's have a look at something. Let's look at the most advanced system this does, which is the PS1. Now there's no analog sticks, but this unit would look a bit funny, I think, with the analog sticks. It would be a bit bulky. It would be even less mini, but there is the RG3553V if you want that sort of thing. But I like the form factor of this, and I like the size. Let's have a look at something bloody raw. Bloody hell, it's bloody raw. This was an interesting game where you can change into animals. It's a decent screen. A little bit mucky, this one, as I sometimes end up making the screens. But yeah, it's good viewing angles, or decent enough. Speaker's okay. Yeah, so the point I was trying to make at the beginning is this would blow you away 20 years ago, but people now have got better things, I understand, like the Switch and the Steam Deck. But yeah, this is a good device. This is a good one for if you want to explore the old games and actually play them, or if you just want a device that kind of fits in between the mini and the massive, like the Steam Deck and the Mii Mini. So if you're looking for a first handheld, this is a cheap device, really. I got it for £50. I actually got it in the high street rather than online. It's only been released recently to this device, but I got one already. I mean, for people who haven't watched the channel before, I'm not affiliated or sponsored by anyone. I just collect handhelds because I like them. I always have, and I always will, and I always collect them. And this really is a good one to get if you're looking for something new that does the job. Why not? It's a decent price. On Amazon they go for over £100, or they're trying to sell them for that. So if you can get one cheaper around the recommended retail, which I think is $55, why not go for it? It's not for everyone. If you've not seen an Anbernic device before, you won't know they come in these very basic boxes and don't look that great, but they are a good company. And the boxes don't look great, so they're cutting corners there, and they've cut a few corners with this device. But like I say, we would have thought this was brilliant 20 years ago, and I still think it's brilliant now. Okay, see you on the next one.